Across the northern frontiers of China, a colossal presence winds its way over mountains, through valleys, and across deserts, an enduring testament to human endeavor. This serpentine structure, known globally as the Great Wall, evokes images of a single, continuous barrier, an ancient, immutable sentinel. Yet, the popular perception often belies a far more intricate and fragmented reality, a story not of one wall, but of countless walls erected over millennia. The Great Wall is, in truth, a magnificent palimpsest, a layered chronicle etched into the landscape by numerous dynasties and kingdoms. Its construction spans more than 2,000 years, an epic undertaking driven by an enduring desire for security against incursions from the vast northern steppes. Each segment, each watchtower, each fortified pass tells a distinct tale of its specific era, its unique threats, and the ingenuity of its builders. Long before the unification of China under a single emperor, various independent states in the Warring States period, from the 5th to the 3rd centuries BCE, began constructing their own defensive barriers. These early fortifications were often made of rammed earth, a readily available material, compacted layer by layer to form sturdy ramparts. They served to protect agricultural lands and burgeoning cities from rival states as much as from nomadic tribes. The states of Qin, Zhao, Yan, and Wei, among others, each built their own extensive lines of defense, some stretching for hundreds of kilometers. These early walls were localized responses to immediate threats, forming a patchwork of disconnected barriers across the northern landscape. They represented the initial, nascent stirrings of what would eventually become a much grander, though never truly unified, defensive system. With the consolidation of China under Emperor Qin Shi Huang in 221 BCE, the vision of a unified defensive front began to take shape. The first emperor, having conquered all rival states, ordered the connection and extension of existing walls to form a contiguous barrier against the formidable Xiongnu nomads. This monumental project, often attributed as the genesis of the Great Wall, was a brutal undertaking involving hundreds of thousands of laborers. Much of Qin Shi Huang's wall was built upon or incorporated sections of earlier state walls, and new stretches were added, primarily using rammed earth and local stone. While ambitious in scope, these early sections were not the enduring stone and brick structures commonly imagined today. They were often hastily constructed and, like many ancient fortifications, succumbed to the ravages of time and neglect. Following the Qin dynasty's collapse, the Han dynasty, rising in 206 BCE, faced renewed pressure from the Xiongnu and recognized the strategic imperative of northern defenses. Under emperors like Wudi, extensive efforts were made to rebuild, extend, and fortify the wall system, particularly along the Heshi corridor, a vital trade route to the west. Han dynasty walls pushed farther into the desert, utilizing techniques adapted to arid environments. These Han sections frequently incorporated watchtowers and beacon towers, spaced at regular intervals, to establish a sophisticated communication network. Smoke signals by day and fire by night could relay news of enemy movements across vast distances with remarkable speed. The Han walls were not merely static barriers but integrated components of a dynamic frontier defense. Through subsequent centuries, as Chinese dynasties rose and fell, the need for northern defenses persisted, though priorities and threats evolved. During periods of disunity, such as the northern and southern dynasties, various non-Han dynasties ruling parts of northern China also contributed to the wall system. The northern Wei, northern Qi, and northern Zhou dynasties all constructed significant sections, often to protect their territories from other nomadic groups or rival Chinese states. Each dynasty brought its own engineering practices and preferred materials, reflecting the resources available and the specific challenges of their time. Some walls were simple earthen mounds, others incorporated stone foundations, while still others were formidable brick constructions. The Great Wall was thus continuously redefined, reflecting the shifting geopolitical landscape of ancient and medieval China. The most iconic and visually enduring sections of the Great Wall, those characterized by their robust brick and stone construction, date primarily from the Ming dynasty, 1368 to 1644. Facing a persistent threat from the revitalized Mongol forces to the north, the Ming emperors embarked on an unparalleled program of wall building and fortification. This era saw the construction of the formidable sections that draw millions of visitors today. Ming dynasty engineers perfected the use of fired brick and lime mortar, creating structures of immense strength and durability. These walls were often built on treacherous mountain ridges, following the contours of the terrain with astonishing precision. They featured elaborate watchtowers, barracks, gatehouses, and strategically placed bastions, transforming the wall into a truly integrated military system. The Ming walls were not merely passive barriers but active defensive lines, designed for mobile warfare and rapid deployment of troops. They incorporated intricate drainage systems, internal pathways for soldiers, and crenellated parapets for archers. The scale of labor and resources dedicated to these Ming constructions was immense, representing a peak in defensive engineering. Yet, even the Ming Wall was not a single, unbroken line. It comprised thousands of kilometers of distinct sections, some running parallel to each other, others forming elaborate loops or spurs. There were gaps where natural barriers were deemed sufficient, or where strategic garrisons provided alternative defense. The term Great Wall itself refers to this entire complex system, not a monolithic structure. The wall's purpose transcended mere military defense. It served as a profound psychological and cultural boundary. It demarcated the sedentary agricultural civilization of China from the nomadic pastoralists of the north, symbolizing the perceived divide between order and chaos. It was a physical manifestation of a worldview, shaping identities on both sides of its imposing presence. Beyond its role as a barrier, the wall also influenced patterns of trade and migration, albeit often indirectly. While intended to restrict movement, certain passes became vital arteries for goods and ideas, monitored and controlled by imperial authorities. It was a filter, a conduit, and a symbol of control over the flow of people and commerce. With the advent of gunpowder and more sophisticated siege weaponry, the wall's military efficacy gradually diminished. The Manchu conquest of China in the 17th century, achieved partly through bribing a Ming general to open a key pass, marked the end of the wall's primary defensive role. It slowly faded from military prominence, becoming a relic of a bygone era. For centuries, many sections of the wall fell into disrepair, overgrown by vegetation and slowly reclaimed by the earth. It was only in the modern era that its historical and cultural significance was rediscovered, transforming it from a neglected ruin into a potent national symbol and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Restoration efforts have since brought many sections back to life. Today, understanding the Great Wall means appreciating its profound historical depth, its fragmented nature, and the myriad hands that shaped it. It is not the product of a single grand design but the cumulative effort of countless generations, each responding to the unique challenges of their time. It represents an enduring human impulse to build, to protect, and to define boundaries. The Great Wall, in its vastness and complexity, stands as an unparalleled testament to human persistence, ingenuity, and the cyclical nature of conflict and defense. It invites contemplation on the aspirations and fears that drove its construction, whispering stories of emperors and common laborers, of battles fought and lives sacrificed. It is a profound monument to the enduring human spirit, a landscape woven from history itself, forever reminding us of the immense sweep of time and the collective will of a civilization.